All right.
Yeah, so I would just continue journeying through my career. Not gonna repeat it again, but basically, uh, I being always an engineer. But I being always an engineer who's heavily invested into the networks and more like a hardware guy. At certain point, I just decided, hey, this is a good opportunity to turn my career and learn a little bit more about IT. And at around 2017, 2018, I've been in this search of the destination where I would want to go. And the Black Screen Company, these guys, they had an amazing course for the front end developers, and I joined them. But
Mhm.
halfway through, I realized that it's not exactly what I'm interested because working with the hardware is a little bit different than working, let's say, with the front end where you mostly focus on the developing itself. So I actually helped to build the robust backend microservices based system for the black screen guys, and initially they accepted me as their basic DevOps. Back then the
It's
profession
awesome.
wasn't Yeah, back then the profession wasn't so popular, so DevOps was not one of the buzzwords and was basically on the rise but not there yet. So for me it was a great opportunity to deepen my skills, transition better, and actually learn as I went, like doing certain setups, setting up the backend for the company, helping them do the CI/CD pipelines. Don't worry about all of the terminology. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later today. And after that, I just decided to kind of, hey, there is a time to do the next step in my career, and I found another position at the local company. I'm located in Canada, by the way, so right across the border from some of you, and I'm located in the California time zone, so it's a Pacific time zone. Um, and from there, I found another opportunity to work for the company based off the Vancouver, and I worked for them for a couple of years. And finally, I landed the role where I'm at right now for last 3.5 years. And with this company, first I being hired as the contractor, and after that, the basically my set of skills, my desire to work, the way how I do communicate with the team, they like me that much that they actually pay buyout fees, and they transitioned me to the full-time employee. In the DevOps world, this is very common pattern actually, because most of the companies, they are really curious to know about you as the personality, and they really want to try you and learn how you perform and how you align with the team. So in certain cases, being the contractor is not a bad thing. And very often this is really leading to the full-time employment and the great salary range. And in my case, I got like 30% bump, which is really awesome, and prefer like continue to stay there. So I basically certain point came back to the black screen guys, and we decided, hey, this is a good opportunity and time to actually introduce folks to the DevOps practices, to have the comprehensive guide and properly aligned bootcamp for the people to learn more about the cloud technologies, who is a DevOps and how to work with it, right? And basically that's how our course was born. And we are teaching it not the first season. This is, I believe, like fourth or fifth season at the moment. And that's what we are introducing you here today. So my name is Alexei. I'm gonna be your teacher at this course, and welcome everybody. Let's continue.
That's awesome. And I also want to welcome everyone who just joined us. Let us know where you're joining from. Welcome. We are going to be learning today about DevOps career and why 43% of companies right now actively seeking employees as a DevOps. And so little bit about our company, so we helped since 2016 over 3,500 students to finish this course and get the job. And actually, we've been helping to students in different languages, to learn. different IT professions. And right now, because we had so much success helping others, we launched it in English language. And we have Alexei, who is our instructor. He will be sharing more today about the keys of this profession. But if you do the market research, it is like the hottest profession right now, but the best thing about it is it gives you flexibility, and you could be making over $100,000 a year working remotely. And also, it's possible to learn this tool. And if you stay till the end, we did prepare a special offer for you. And tomorrow we will continue our training. But we also will have time for questions and answers in the end. And let's just dive in and learn more. I'll share a few testimonies about our graduates. You can see it on the screen. Those are just few stories about people not even having IT background and becoming successful in it and creating their dream career. So we don't expect you to have an IT background. If you do have it, it's awesome. Alexei might share a few golden nuggets with you about, the next level, how to learn more about it. But those are just a few stories, like Damir, one of our students, he moved to USA, even not speaking great English. He started from working as a bicycle rental manager. Then he got IT career. He has chosen our program, which is a full stack developer. He works in the industry right now. Kate, she previously didn't have any IT background. Right now, she works in the industry as well. Michael, it's a great story. He used to be a truck driver, so no IT background, but he was able to learn it. And but anybody could come in this industry and become successful, and I am being as a, mindset mentor when I work with people and help them to choose a career path. I always encourage them, do not build obstacles, do not look in the past. And success is when preparation meets opportunity. So we prepare you for those opportunities which are right there on the market. Uh, so our students are working in companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, you name it. We got them everywhere because pretty much every company right now, they need DevOps engineer. And that's why you gotta dive in and get the skills that you need to be successful. So who can become a DevOps engineer? Pretty much anyone who has a desire to learn and get the skill set. And Alexei will dive into the details about what you will be learning with us at this course. Okay, the salary starts from 110,000, and there is a potential to grow and making over $250,000 a year. So I usually say sky's the limit, if you put effort and you have right mentor, right instructor. And that's what we prepared. And that's why our students succeed. So stay with us till the end so you would see the offer be prepared. And we also will have questions and answers time. And what's amazing about Alexei, what I admire about him, is that he started from zero in IT industry and now he works as a DevOps engineer. And what puts us apart from any school out of there is that our instructor, he works in the industry. He doesn't just teach you the material, like if you do market research, you would see that there are a lot of instructors and they would be teaching you, but they don't even work in the industry. And Alexei, I'm sure would agree with me that in order for you to teach DevOps engineer career, you have to know the latest tools. You have to be on the top of the game, with what you know and the skill set. That's why I'm so excited. We got the right mentor who can take you there because he already been there. So I'll let you dive in, Alexei, and just tell us what it is to be DevOps engineer, how exciting it is, how to get there, what tools they will be learning. So I'll let you take it from here.
Okay, yeah. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the who is a DevOps and what this profession means and what exactly this guy is doing, right? Um, Basically, DevOps engineer is a profession which was created because of the need to join two sides of the IT development cycle. It's developers and operations. Developers mostly what they like. They like to write the software, but they don't like to deal with the routine of setting up their environment. Basically, if you try to launch any application, you need to have a certain settings on your computer, anything, right? And developers, they didn't want to work with it. They didn't want to set up it properly. They always been saying, hey, it works on my computer because I'm so awesome. And now I'm giving it to you, make it work. And on the other side of the wall, we had the operational guys. The operational guys, those were the guys who's been dealing mostly with the hardware. They've been setting up networks, they've been setting up servers, but at the same time, they didn't want to deal with the bugs and additional settings which were required by the developers. So they would try to start your application on their server, somewhere in the data center, buried deep into the server rack. And by any chance, like if it wouldn't work, it would throw up the error, it wouldn't start, something's gonna happen. They would just toss it back to the developers and say, hey, it doesn't work in my environment, so go and fix it. And that's been always a fighting, that's been always a struggle. And so the profession of the DevOps combine in itself the understanding of the cloud operations, working with the hardware and working with a certain tool set, but at the same time, it necessitate, I should say, not like required, but it's a necessity to understand the basic steps of the development cycle. Basically, if we need to have the additional settings in the application, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna go and write the new code, but I should be capable of adjusting it, like going deeper into the settings, figuring out what the issue is. And at the same time, this level of knowledge opens me up for the easier conversation with the developers. So I can come back to the developer instead of saying, hey, it doesn't work, just fix it. I can pinpoint certain areas and highlight the issues and say, hey, that thing is set up a little bit different on your computer. Maybe we should try something else. And that is exactly the DevOps engineer. So it is the person who's capable of bridging the gap between development cycle and operational cycle. And during our course, we will be heavily invested into the cloud technologies and the tool set. At the same time, we will be working with some basic examples of the applications which are existing on the market. And we will go from this simple to more complicated. So don't be scared that it all sounds and looks overcomplicated right now. Trust me, I can take you for the easy journey. So the next slide, I think. Yes. So exactly as I said, it is the person who bridges the gap between the developers and operations. And also it is the person who helps to spark the proper conversation between developers and operations. I know in certain companies, it's been always a struggle, but in the modern world, and that's why DevOps profession is also growing in the popularity, because companies want to work more efficient. So in the modern world, there is a dedicated DevOps teams who actually helps to eliminate all of this friction. And the second point is that DevOps, it's not only about the knowledge and about the tech stack. DevOps is not more, but also about the communication and approach to the issues, to the problems, right? So basically, it should be the person who can come back to the developer teams and say, hey, let's just take it deeper, let's dive deeper, let's work with it, instead of saying it is not your problem now and end of the story. So it's also about the cultural and collaborative approach. And that helps to eliminate the friction in the team communications and basically develop faster. Because at the end of the day, what the companies want, they want to spend less money on their product, and they want to be more efficient and faster on the delivering new features. And that's exactly what the DevOps culture is focused on. Next slide, please. So here are the key principles of the DevOpsing, right? The very first one, automation. Automate repetitive tasks. So as any good operational person for the DevOps, anything was being done more than 2 times, and something what's require more than 1 hour of time should be automated. And that's exactly part of our course. We work with the automation tool, which is called Jenkins, for those who haven't heard about it. And we also align our knowledge with the other tools on the market, because in the DevOps world, there's always a multiple solutions to one problem. Second point, continuous integration. That's exactly the part of the automation which is responsible for creating the properly packaged application and properly packaged artifact of the application. What that means once the developers finish developing their code and this code passes the basic tests, it should be and can be packaged in this certain blob or certain piece. We call this artifact, and that's the part of the DevOps world to create the pipeline or process which will basically go through the tests and package it. Third point, continuous delivery. Continuous delivery, that's when we take this artifact, this piece of code, and we actually successfully deploy it into the production. What that means that you have an application on your cell phone, on your computer, anything, right? And you need to have a way how to update it. On the phone, for example, it happens automatically, but the effort behind it of delivering and shipping this application to your cell phone or your computer or any of your devices is exactly called continuous delivery. And that process also can be and need to be automated because we can't do it manually, right? The fourth point is continuous monitoring, of course, because we not only need to deploy stuff, we need to know that things are not broken. If any one of you ever had the situation where you open the updated app and you notice the glitch, you can write in the chat example of the app. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of examples where, for example, Uber app, right, didn't load the map properly, or it wouldn't identify your position on the map, or it wouldn't load at all, or it would crash on the start, right? So DevOps engineer needs to be set to set up necessary metrics and monitoring to be capable of catching the signs of this happening early. So it might happen for you, but not happen for your neighbor, right? And we need to know about it. And if there's such issues arise, we need to catch them early, and we need to be capable of seeing it and detecting it. And that's what we're going to be learning on our course. We're going to work with the continuous monitoring and basically with the certain tool set, which will help us to detect these issues. And the last but not least point is collaboration, right? So if we notice something during the monitoring phase, or after we deployed it, right? We need to provide a proper feedback to the operational team. We need to provide the proper feedback to the developers team and tell them, hey, there is a bug which you didn't catch and you ship it to the production. Or there is something going on with our production at the moment. Let's figure it out. And that part of the DevOps development is called SRE, Site Reliability Engineer. And that person is responsible for catching the signs of things starts failing up early and basically reverting this change or saving the day by adjusting the stack of the size of the stack which we are using at the moment. All of this is really interesting job, and it's very interesting profession by itself. By the way, DevOps by itself, it's more about set of practices. But on the flip side, there are multiple professions which are stemming from the DevOps skill set, right? So basically, and that is the beauty of the DevOps at the moment, because every company means something, a little bit something else under this DevOps designation. And for the certain companies, it means being the SRE person. For certain companies, it means being database developer. For certain companies, it means being the platform engineer, the person who's responsible for packaging the code. And the cool part about it, so you can be anything. As long as you know your basic principles, you can decide later on your career development what fits you better, and then search and seek deeper into the position and actually define your development part. But that means you will be able to start easy and then develop on it. What
I
are
think
the
that's very
benefits?
important. I like say, didn't mean to
Yes.
interrupt you, but I think that's very important that that people who start like from the beginning, you know, and some of the terms might sound scary right now, but you will take them step by step. So having that's why it's so important having a right mentor. So don't be scared about any terms you're not familiar with. Alexei will help you to figure it out, right, Alexei?
Yes, sure. Always welcome. And what are the benefits of doing DevOps in the organization? First of all, as I already highlighted, is a faster time to market. Basically, with having the proper automation and testing, we can make sure that our product is stable and we can ship the new features faster. We can add this new button in the screen without being scared that it's going to fail our map view. We can make our app faster without being scared that by removing unnecessary pieces, we are going to fail something. The second point is improved quality. Again, having more tests never hurts. There is never enough tests because we can't cover everything, right? But we can try. And that means introducing DevOps in the organization helps to have a continuous testing and monitoring and ensure higher quality for the end client, for us. And the last point is increased collaboration. So DevOps breaks down the barriers between teams. And if you have a good DevOps in your company, or you're going to be that DevOps, you will see how much friction is there in between different teams. And DevOps is focused on solving those things. Okay, next slide. Yeah, here we go. Which tools we are using in
Scary
DevOps, right?
words.
Yes, scary words. First of all, the standard of industry, Git. This is a special tool which is widely used across the all IT world, and not only IT world. It can be highly beneficial even for the home usage if you are the person who likes to modify your nodes, let's say, right? This tool is designed to help store your code and work with it and have it versioned. So you can always revert to the latest version, to the previous version of your code, and you can always see what are the changes which you are introducing. The second tool, continuous integration, it's Jenkins. Jenkins is another standard of industry because it's all open source. It's fairly easy to start, and it gets complicated after you start digging deeper, but it gets more interesting. The third tool, which we're gonna learn and which we're gonna use at our course, is Ansible. Ansible is a tool designed to help automate setup of our servers. So basically, we have a fresh computer launched in the cloud, right? How are we gonna set it up? How are we gonna add necessary drivers? How are we gonna add necessary settings? And we need to have it all automated because you can do one server manually, you can do two servers manually, maybe 50. What if it's 5,000? For that, we need this tool. The second tool in this category is Chef. This one is more outdated. We're gonna touch on it, but currently it's phasing out of the industry and the industry is turning to more modern stuff, which is like Ansible. And the most exciting stuff, containerization. That is the bleeding edge of the technology at the moment. It's been bleeding for the last 5 years and it's still bleeding. There is a lot of things getting added into it almost on a monthly basis. Not daily like AI stuff, but monthly for sure. And it's keep developing. And it's one of the latest buzzwords in the DevOps world. It's a Docker and Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is the container orchestration tool. And we gonna dive deeper what is the container itself, because it's basically like a frozen piece of your software with all of the necessary settings encapsulated in the simple entity. I know it's complicated, but it's gonna get easier once we dive deeper into it. So the idea behind it is that we should be able to launch it in any environment, on any computer, on any operational system. It doesn't matter, it's a Windows, it's a Linux, it's a macOS. We should be capable of just taking that piece of image and starting our application. Neither to the website, backend piece of processing software, microservice, or a database. Doesn't matter. So that's the role of the Kubernetes. It helps to set it up and orchestrate on it. And it's one of the latest domains of the tech, which is keep growing in the DevOps world. And again, last but not least, is monitoring and logging. So there are a multitude of tools. We are going to be focusing mostly about on the open source tools. So open source tool set, which is very popular because it's free. At the same time, we're going to have some touch-ups on the paid version of alternative tools, which are also getting popular on the enterprise level. Because it gets complicated once the enterprise tool, which is cost like couple $1,000 a month, easy, you can't just simply have an experience with. But I can show you the way, first of all, how to get additional bonuses in the cloud. So you can get a free tier for your experiments and for something what we will be doing along the way. It wouldn't cost you anything. Great question in the chat. Victor mentioned that there's a
Victor is
Terraform which,
asking, yeah.
yeah, he mentioned there is a Terraform which is not on the screen. Yes, and it is the one of the necessary tools, and it is a standard of industry as well. And that tool is actually should be categorized more like cloud provisioning. So infrastructure as the code is another buzzword. And basically what that means, we are automating cloud provisioning, and we are automating our way of setting up the cloud resources. So we don't need to do it manually. And that's where the Terraform shines. Also, currently there's expansion of the Terraform, which is called TerraGrant. And the HashiCorp probably doing something else behind the scenes at the moment. So as you see, it's very important to stay current and very important to monitor what are the latest trends on the market. So Terraform is a tool by itself. It should be in the separate category, and it should be more like a cloud management infrastructure setup tool. Next slide, please. So what are the DevOps lifecycle stages, right? That's basically how we work with the developers. And that's where we are diving into the process. So first stage, plan. We need to define the requirements and plan for the development process. That means developers come back to us and tell us, hey, we guys creating a new application, we need it launched. Here's how it's going to look like. Here's the programming language we're going to use, and that's our requirements, and that is the expected load, right? From there, developers go and write the code. After that, they write the code and commit it to the version control, which is most likely is a GitHub, but it can be anything rather than GitHub, like a GitLab or Bitbucket or something, some version control system. And from there, we start doing the builds. Build is the part which needs to be automated by the DevOps engineer. So it is acceptable to do the manual builds for the testing purposes or for the creation of the proof of concept, so POC, right? But somewhere along the way, once we start transitioning to the actual production environment and showing it to our people, like to our clients, it needs to be automated. The next stage is testing, right? So that basically means that DevOps engineers get to work with the QA guys. That means the QA comes back to us and say, hey, I need to run this test against this certain URL address, which is called API. And we need to alert ourselves, that's here where the monitoring comes back, right? If things starts getting wrong. After we pass our testing stage, we go to the deployment stage. Again, it's more for the production, for the staging and development environment. It is still acceptable to have the manual deployment. For the small size companies, it's still acceptable even for the production. But as modern fashion and modern stack of the technologies require, currently we are trying to automate it as well. And one of the last two stages are operate. So basically, we just have a certain metrics set up, and if we exceed the thresholds, we start alerting ourselves, and that's where the monitoring comes, right? So if the performance is not to our standards, we need to understand what happened, why, and when. And the one of the essential pieces is a security, right? Basically, with the security, we need to make sure we don't have something accessible what we didn't want to be accessible. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we provide seamless access for our users, so they're still capable of reaching to our app. Next slide, please. Okay, so that was all about DevOps lifecycle, and the next step would be what challenges DevOps are facing. First of all, learning curve, right? Because as a DevOps engineer, our learning never ends. That's for sure. We need to be current to the latest stack of tech, and we need to have certain sources where we can get the news and staying up to date on the latest releases. Raise your hand who heard about the latest attack on the Linux, where we almost got the zero-day breach into the Linux, which haven't been heard about. Yeah, I see only Julia. So be active. Raise your hands. No? Okay, I will explain it. And that's basically learning curve. On the flip side, we need to share the knowledge. So we are not the only people in the team who is current and who knows how to use certain tools. And very often it is the case, because I've been working, my previous company where I've been working, the teams there were very prone to come back to the DevOps engineer and keep asking him to turn on this, turn off that. What are these logs means? Oh, our process failed here. Can you explain what happened there? And so on. So the more we educate our teams, it's better for us, because we get less questions to ourselves, and we're gonna have more free time for us to focus on our tasks and development. And the second point, and this is a part of the challenge, is the security concerns. Because basically, knowing the basics of the DevOps, we can go into the next development path of our career as the DevSecOps. And DevSecOps is the great career. Honestly, for me, it's a little bit boring. I try that because we will be always submerged into the latest threats, and we need to stay current on what's going on in the dark web, let's say. And at the same time, we should be capable of dealing with the basic stuff ourselves as a DevOps engineer. So once the DevOps engineer starts setting up the automation, which I mentioned earlier, right? We need to understand and be capable of closing the basic gaps of the security concerns, such as not providing keys to anyone, making sure we don't have these keys exposed, making sure our firewall is set up properly, and so on. And that's something what we're gonna be focusing during our course as well. Next slide, please. So conclusion, by implementing DevOps principles and practices, organizations can accelerate development cycle and improve product quality. So have their product be more agile, easier ship new features, and increase the velocity of the development itself. So if yesterday a developer comes back to me and says, hey, I have a new feature, I want to test it. Yeah, why not? And that's what, for example, Facebook is doing right now. They don't have a proper test environment anymore. What they do, they turn on the feature for the certain amount of users and ship it in production. And if it starts failing, fine. It's only 0.5% of the users out of how many millions, right? So maybe few thousand will see some glitch on the screen, and that's okay. But we need to catch these signs early, and we need to react properly. So basically, with a refresh of the page, this bug should be gone, and you should be back to the normal old version of the Facebook. That's just example. Netflix does the same principles. It's a microservice architecture. So if the new version of the service doesn't perform as they expect, they just roll it back. And that means proper implementation of the DevOps principles can save a lot of money. That's why highly skilled DevOps engineers are really seeked on the market, because DevOps engineer can save up to 30 to 40% company budget on the cloud resources. Easy. And that's why DevOps can help to accelerate the company development itself. So company can go ahead of the competitors and release new features faster. And the second point is that DevOps helps to collaborate and automate and continuously improve the company stack. Collaborate with the teams. So developers from one team not necessarily need to know what developers from the other team doing. But at the same time, if their changes are conflicting, that's where DevOps can step in and say, hey guys, there is a conflict, we need to resolve it. And we need to resolve it before it makes to production, and those two features could be contradictory. In the big companies, it's a thing. And that's why having a good dedicated DevOps team sometimes is necessary. Also, I would like to add something what is not on the slide, and it's a latest addition. Basically, again, talking about being current, right? Currently, from the DevOps engineer, you can also transition into the FinOps engineer. FinOps engineer, it's a person who knows the company budget, who understand the data processing and implications which are standing behind the accounting, and at the same time, the person who understands how the cloud works. And this profession is going to be exponentially rising in the next couple of years. That's my prediction. And currently, there are not a lot of the people who's doing it, but somehow there are like 10 to 15% of DevOps who's actually involved in it. And that means those people do understand the basics of the optimization process. And at the same time, they can find the proper information from the accounting and capable of saving up to 10 to 15 budget on the top of the 30% I mentioned before for the company, just by negotiating properly with the cloud provider. And that is a big power. And that means this profession is not going to become obsolete yet. At least for the next 10, 15 years, my prediction is the AI cannot replace us. And that's why we're going to see the need in the DevOps farther down the market. And the digits which is Julia provided are actually holding truth. And I honestly think with the current market transitioning to more and more into the cloud and being dependent on all of the intertwining of the resources, DevOps engineer is gonna just win. So next slide, please. So what's included? I think it's a time to transition to Julia. She can expand on the next slides.
Yeah, that was great, Alexei. And so let's just dive in. I know that might seem like a lot to take in, but trust me, we're talking about a once in a lifetime opportunity that can change your life, change your future. And it's up to you to seize this opportunity. And it's not just about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. No, you got to take massive action. And you have to be able to envision yourself living where you want to live, driving what you want to drive. So that's why this opportunity is so important. And sometimes we let our past experience, doubts hold us back. Can somebody relate? Text me in chat if you can. And mentoring people over the years, I could say that mindset is crucial. And many people on this webinar are living with this negative thoughts, I'm sure, that's keeping you back from reaching your full potential. But successful people, they see opportunity where others would see just roadblocks and obstacles. And the real definition of success is when preparation meets opportunity, and that's it. So you can spend a ton of money on college tuition and, why spend a fortune on a degree which 50%, that's statistics of graduates, they never even use their degree, so that's why it's so important to invest in yourself, invest in something that will absolutely produce your ROI, and like it will produce over 3,300% return of your investment. And every self book I ever read, it talks about success, and it comes when you invest in yourself. You invest in the skill set, which Alexei was talking about, and that changes your future. And I believe that everybody should live the way they deserve. And so imagine yourself finishing this course, getting the salary you want from the company, and you have so many offers and the decisions in your life, which could be stressful. But that's a good stress because we all need this in our life, because when we trying to think about like covering your bills or something, you could just say, Julia, what's the catch? And can that be so easy? Yes, there is a catch, and you got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, believe in yourself enough, to take this action, learn this, profession, because success doesn't just happen, and it's one decision on the top of another decision, and then constantly, you become successful, So I want you to be willing today to make this decision to learn the skill set, so you could take this opportunity and do not miss it, so you wouldn't be in a position where another year passes by, and you didn't achieve what you want. So if today I just want to go over what's included, that special offer we prepared for you, so you could be successful. And Alexei would be a great mentor. And what's amazing about this group that we decided to keep this group small, so everyone would have individual attention. So like if you would get the course like that somewhere in a college, so they would just put 100 people in a room and it's like a lecture. But the beauty about the smaller group where it's 30, 40 people learning in the same time is that instructor gives you individual attention, and that's very important. So we don't just include internship, career coaching, recording of the course, because I know sometimes time doesn't always work. You can always watch the recording if you didn't get a chance to watch it. And so you will learn a lot. You will learn pretty much from zero to the point where we even help you with your resume, with your internship, and uh, you know, you would complete the project, which would be added into your resume as well. So we take you from the zero to the point where you're ready to get the job. You know how to pass the interview. We even do the mock interview for you. And that's very important. We will answer some more questions, but I want to share the offer we prepared for you today. Usually this course, I mean, it ranges from 3,500 to $10,000 if you do the market research. But for everyone who came to this webinar today, we prepared a special offer. It's only 2,999, and you can just scan the QR code and join right now. We are going to be starting the course in the end of April, and as I mentioned before, you don't just get all the knowledge and individual attention. We take you to the place where the resume is ready, you prepare to the interview, and you get the job. So if you do, like I mentioned, ROI, on your investment and how important it is invest to yourself. If you would think about college, you would spend about 50 to 100K a year. I got PhD in business. I got a lot of invested in myself. So I know the power investment and the return on it. And so here you invest $3,000, and we're talking about the salary over $100,000 a year. So like Alexei could say, how long did it take you to return your investment, like from the course when you got your
Once
first
you
job?
join the DevOps
Mhm,
profession, basically it's less than a month.
mhm.
So
Yeah, so less than a month. And also, like for some of our students, I mean, I would say maximum is 4 months to get the job, but with the demand on the market, as I said earlier, 43% of companies actively are looking for DevOps engineers. So it takes 2 to 4 months maximum to get the job. And we teach you step by step how to get there, how to file your resume. We even help you with your LinkedIn account. So if you're ready to dive in right now, take a spot because, as I mentioned, it is a limited time offer. As soon as we close the group, price is going to be different. And let me pause the link in the chat as well, so you could so if someone does can scan the QR code, you can do it like this. Let me do it super fast. And also, we do have lesson tomorrow. So we will continue into depth, what's become a DevOps. All the classes are going to be live classes, so it's not just recorded lesson, where you watched it and then figured out by yourself how to apply whatever you learn. So here it's all live sessions, and I know that Alexei, he answers the questions in the end of each lesson. And sometimes even if you need extra attention, there is always an opportunity to purchase an extra one-on-one session with Alexei, where he takes an hour and it's a reasonable price. So it's only like $70, but he helps you to catch up if you feel like you need like one-on-one attention. And I've been there, like when you going through the lecture and you ask the questions, but then, you try to apply something and you need something extra, like, or you just already work in an industry and you need advice. That happened too. So you got that opportunity as well. If you do have any extra questions, though, you need to use few credit cards, to make a payment. I am going to share another link. You can scan it over here, and I will contact you directly and we'll go over your situation and see how we can help you to get started. But I'll share with you one example of one of my friends who is making millions right now. He like what I came to him and I said, Billy, how do you make 30 million a month? And he's like, Julia, I invested in myself and I paid for my mentors. He used to be I met him like 7 years ago. He used to be MMA fighter, and then he just right now he owns like 14 software companies. And I was like, how do you get from like being MMM fighter to, owning all the software companies which, make you fortune? And he's like, I was just hiring mentors, I invested in myself. I hired mentor who taught me marketing. I hired mentor who taught me, business strategy. And I know that the difference between successful people and not successful is that they see opportunity and they take action. They don't just come back to their routine life, but they do take action. And so I encourage you today to take action and take in charge. Take charge of your future. Like, where do you want to be in 6 months? Do you want to have a remote job, profession which allows you to have flexibility? For someone, it might be spending more time with his family. I know that Alexei, when he worked at the factory, he had to travel to all these different places and he couldn't spend quality time with his family. And this job right now allowed him to have flexibility, right, Alexei?
Yeah, that's
To
one of
have
the beauties
to
being
have
of the
that
DevOps.
flexibility where he can spend time with his kids, where he doesn't have to be away all the time. And mhm. Yeah, and everybody has their own why. You got to know your why. And so I want to will we get this recording? Frank, of course. Frank, you made it. You joined us from Hawaii. I'm so happy you joined. I know you probably missed the beginning. Well, I'll personally send you email with the recording. And tomorrow we're going to have another class. And so I just want to go over the questions, so like the first one probably would be when the course starts. We want to start in the end of April. And as I mentioned before, this group is going to be limited. We're not going to have like over 50 people. We want to make it small so you would have individual attention. And so we would guide you step by step with your resume, job applications, so you could get the job and you would have the results you paid for. How long is this course? 4 months. 4 months. We have classes 3 times a week. Each class is about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And if for some reason, like things happen, life happens, you miss the class, you can always watch the recording. And also you will be able to, check the course, retake it as well. So That's possible. What's included in job assistance, mentoring sessions, mock interviews, interview coaching, resume building will also help you with your LinkedIn profile, and also you will be completing internship. So you will complete a project, which usually takes 4 to 6 months, but you can be doing it in the same time of the course, right, Alexei?
Yep, confirm.
Mhm. So, and it's very important, like you actually know how to apply what you learn. And that's the beauty of the community, of the group, and have an instructor who guides you step by step. The power of mentorship, you can't put price tag on it. And, investing $3,000 in order to be making $100,000 a year, you can't comprehend it. I'll give you another example. A few years ago, I started a company, and I had to invest $150,000 in equipment. It was like extreme sports adventures, flyboarding business. So I spent 150K in equipment, run the company for a year, but it took me 2 years to just return whatever I invested, and I wasn't free. I didn't have time and freedom. If I don't show up, I don't make money, So, and the beauty about being DevOps engineer, you could be anywhere in the world, and with life challenges we're facing right now, like what if COVID happens again? You gotta have online job which brings stability where you don't have to show up in the office. You can work remotely. And you gotta be able to have with inflation and prices going up, I hear so many people complaining about gas prices, but instead of complaining that everything is getting more expensive, just get a skill set, make more money. So it wouldn't be even an issue, and it's all about your mindset. You could be successful and you can figure out the solution. And that's why we're giving you the solution of this problem, which a lot of people are facing right now. Invest in yourself and get a dream career, get flexibility, live the life which you deserve, so you wouldn't have obstacles which are stopping you. So that's why we even created this webinar so we could help more people to achieve their dream, to have that flexibility instead of, sitting on the couch watching your favorite show and, feeling sorry for yourself.
The
But
time
in
will
order to have
pass.
the,
The time
yeah,
will
the
pass.
time will pass. Yeah, and so you gotta take the time to do it now. Why it's important, do not delay it, is that right now there is a shortage on DevOps engineers, and just a perfect timing to get an opportunity. As like I know that a few years ago, I think a year ago, where Google fired a lot of their employees like QAs, but now it's a booming, in the industry where you can become a DevOps engineer, and you could be having that life you deserve. And so I encourage you to live the life you deserve, take action, get the skill set you need. So you would be in a different position a year ago, and then it will tell me, Julia, that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Thank you, for inviting me for that webinar. And so I wanna remind you that tomorrow we'll continue. We'll have another lesson where Alexei, what are you going to be sharing in tomorrow? Like, are you going to be talking about more tools? Give us give us
Uh,
some exciting news.
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna have a little bit deeper dive into the tech which is used by the DevOps engineers, and I will show you the basic examples of setting up the cloud infra with the Jenkins. So automation plus some basic examples of the Terraform and working with the AWS cloud.
Awesome. So it is going to be interesting, because like tomorrow he will really dive deep into the knowledge. If you have any other questions we didn't answer it, maybe for Alexi about some of the tools or for me about the program, text it in the chat. I already answered to Frank. We will have a recording and I'm going to send it to you, Frank. Anybody else, you got any questions before we wrap it up? And I know it's Sunday. You guys will probably have some plans. I want to thank you, everyone who joined us today. And, you spent this time to learn more about, your career, about new skill set. And I'm just so proud of all of you who came today, because people success people, they take action, they learn more, they learn. I have a friend, he reads like 5 books a week, and he's very successful, he's got few companies. And I learned from him that you always have to be on the top of the game. You always have to be with the hottest topic in the industry, and DevOps is the way to go right now. So tomorrow, what time Eastern? Frank, tomorrow we're gonna do it's gonna
6:30.
be 9 p.m. Eastern. So 6 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 Eastern. And I hope everybody will be able to join at 9:30 Eastern. I am going to have the recording of this webinar. If you want to share it with a friend, who you want to invite and do this journey together, please share it. If you have more questions, we're available to answer them. I know I was calling to some of you. You got my number. Email us, or we'll continue tomorrow. Do you have a website? Yes, Michael, we have a website. It is blackscreen.ai. It is a new website. As I mentioned before, we used to run all our project as PASV, as past. And so this is a new project for English speakers. As I mentioned before in the beginning, we helped over 3,500 students to get this career in IT industry. And bless you, Alexei. We just see that the potential is very big. And, if our students who doesn't even speak proper English, they can get a job. I mean, most of them, they get a job in America. Why don't help people who live and speak English here, to get this profession and become successful in it. And sky's the limit when you put some work in your actions. You're welcome, Michael. So we'll see you tomorrow. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Spend some quality time thinking about your future. Again, if you are ready to join now and do not miss your spot, because we do have different marketing channels. As soon as we got more than 30 people, we're going to close this group. And we want to make this group the most successful, because it's for English speakers. And we just basically take you by the hand to your dream career. So here is the link. Go ahead and get enrolled right now. If you need to use a few credit cards, or you have some questions, here is another link. Uh, Here, that's the other link. So please scan it and leave your question for me. I'll reach out. And so this is if you have questions, and this link if you're ready to move forward and you say, I'm an action taker, I want to be successful. Julia, help us to join your company and become successful right now. I don't need to think about it. I know what I want and I want to be successful. I want to become a DevOps engineer. So then go ahead and take action right now. As I said before, success is when preparation meets opportunity. Opportunities are out there, but you got to be prepared, and we're ready to help you to achieve it. So have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you, Alexei. It was a great presentation. You really kind of described it. You nailed it, I would say. And so I'm excited about what we're going to learn tomorrow. Don't miss it. And invite a friend. Come with a friend tomorrow, because this opportunity, everybody has to have an opportunity, and we'll help you to get prepared for becoming successful. Have a great Sunday, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank
Thank
you.
you. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.